America's Pacific Northwest. The rugged mountains and dense rainforests here are allegedly home to a monster. And one state, Washington, is a hot zone for seeing it. The monster's name? Sasquatch, or Bigfoot.
So this area is millions of acres. It is very sparsely populated in terms of humans. Is really what you would consider a perfect place for a shy creature like Bigfoot to be.
According to a database kept by the Bigfoot Field Research Organization, there have been over 700 reported sightings since the 19th century.
Native American oral traditions, going back centuries, detail a race of giants living in this forest.
When settlers arrived in this area, they also began documenting the legends and sightings. Fur hunters and trappers also described seeing a large, hairy beast that walked on two legs.
But a young boy named Daniel Hamilton knew nothing about these tales when he went hunting with his family on the Olympic Peninsula in 1981.
I was 6 or 7 years old. My dad and my uncle said, "Hey, do you want to learn to hunt?" So we go to the hunting camp. So the next morning, we get up super early. It was about a half a mile from the camp to the tree stand. We weren't actually going to hunt. He just wanted me to experience nature. My dad's looking through his knapsack, and he forgot something. He goes, "I'll be right back." And he goes running back down the trail. So I sit up in there, it's 5 in the morning, started nodding off. I was just about to fall asleep, and my leg jerked, and I looked down, and my bootlace is untied. Didn't think anything of it. So I go and I tie it again. I start nodding off again, and I jerk again. And immediately I go down and I look at my boot. And my bootlace is untied again. And I'm like, "Dad, you better stop messing with me." And I don't hear nothing. I tie my boot again, and I'm laser locked on my boot now. And all of a sudden, I hear this loud crack. I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, "Dad, it's not funny, you're scaring me, stop and I'm losing my mind. I look over to see my dad sprinting up this path. That's when I realized he wasn't the one who's messing around with this. My dad was a Vietnam vet, and I see him take his rifle off of his shoulder. And he squats down, looks around, scanning back and forth, and he stops. And he goes, "Daniel, get out of the tree right now." And he's like, "Run back to camp. Don't stop. I'll be right behind you. Run." So I take off running. My dad felt that something was potentially dangerous up there. So we packed up and we left the camp. As we were leaving, I was thinking, maybe it was a bear. As a 7-year-old, I just moved on.
3 years later, Daniel's father decides to return for a weekend getaway, this time with a larger group.
I was excited because this is a big camping trip. My dad, my little brother, my uncle went back to the hunting camp. They set up this big tent. There was so much stuff to do there. Swimming in the stream, fishing in the stream. The whole day was just kind of chilling around in the camp. We were super stoked. And we heard this yell or scream or something way off in the distance. And I go, "Dad, was that a bear?" And my dad goes, yeah, that was a bear. So we went about our day, and we were just all talking and stuff. Well, it got late, and we went to bed. And I hear something moving out in our camp. And I open my eyes, and I sit up real quick. And my dad and my uncle both have rifles. And my dad does this, like, immediately, telling me to keep my mouth shut. The front flap had a small little gap in it, and I just remember seeing something walk right by that gap. It was super quick. It just went by, it just went boop, and it was gone. About that time, I hear something walk right behind me and drag its nails across the tent. They sounded like they were long fingernails. I thought it was trying to cut open the whole tent. My dad gets on his knees and he's now following it with his rifle. And then you hear it run off into the woods.
For the rest of the night, Daniel's family sits frozen in their tent, unsure if whatever they heard is still out there.
My uncle saw sunlight coming through the front of the tent. He walks out, and I hear him say, "Dean, you gotta come out here and see this." I burst through the tent, and our camp was destroyed. Lawn chairs were all twisted. Cooler lids were just completely ripped off. And I saw footprints going around our tent, probably 15 to 18 inches long. "Dad, what happened?" And he's like, "We gotta go, guys, we need to go." And just as we start leaving the camp, we hear this scream. And you feel it come through the trees. My uncle grabs my little brother, and we are now running. I jump in the bed of the third truck, and as we're pulling off, my uncle just starts shooting. I'm like up near the cab of the truck, and I peek my head up, just in time to see this large branch come flying through the air, like it was thrown like a spear, and we took off. We stayed in the bed of the truck the whole way to my uncle's house. I asked my dad what was going on, and he wouldn't tell me anything, but we never went back there again.
The screams Daniel heard in those woods never left him. For decades, they've echoed in his memory, pushing him to search for answers. Including listening to an audio recording made in Northern California in 1971 and 1972 by Bigfoot researcher Ron Moorhead and journalist Al Berry. Many in the cryptozoology community consider these sounds to be compelling evidence that Bigfoot exists.
This audio tape recording is considered a very big deal by believers. It has a range of noises, from whistles to growls, that Moorhead's group believes are made by a family of Sasquatches. And some of the vocalizations can be described as shrieks or screams.
For Daniel, the sounds are all too familiar.
The screams are consistent with what people like Ron Moorhead have recorded, like the Sierra sounds. They matched almost to a T what I heard. When you think about it, what else could it be but Bigfoot?